said, what is this just for women? Well, one of the guys said it in I know him, and he was just going, oh, is this just for women? And I said, yeah, it is. And it's a Facebook program called She Means Business. And another guy said something, not quite as supportive. And I thought, well, that's probably the reason why it is just for women.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Kind of attitude, definitely. I think if there were, maybe it's not really fair, because they're in my academy. I have men, and they are very, they are very welcome. They're very much part of the community. I suppose it depends. It's not fair to tar all men with the same brush either. Yeah. I don't think the men who are in my academy would put off any of the women asking questions about stuff they want help with, put it that way.
Yeah. No, that's great. And you can monitor that because it's your group. With my group being such a public group, it's really hard to monitor. So, that's why I've just kept it at that. And, if men want to work with me one-on-one, that's completely no problem. It's just this space. It's just this space that I just have this vision of what I want it to be and what I want it to look like and how I want it to feel and how I want people and the ladies who leave to feel. Yeah, and that's why it's sort of naturally sort of niched. And to be honest with you, there's only really been like a handful in the last, since last November, who have been men who have said, oh, is this just for women?
Yeah, I don't get involved. I don't get asked it very often at all, to be honest.
No. And because there are so many other networking groups here that is a mixture, so I don't see it being, a huge issue. But it's very interesting. Look, I don't know about you, but this group has even been a learning curve for me.
I think every day is. I'm changing things every day in my business.
Yeah, it's amazing. I haven't had so much learning in the past sort of 12 months that I've had in the whole 6 years.
Yeah, I know. I think, do you think that's the joy of being an entrepreneur as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's made it really interesting, really fulfilling. Yeah. Instead of just churning out the work it's just given a different flavour.
I'm pretty sure I couldn't go back to a job.
No, yeah. And even with my consulting was getting to that point because I was booked with obviously the coaching clients and I was booked with the consulting clients. And then I was like, well, this is, I'm back to 60 hours a week here. Like it was getting like that before I had Mackenzie. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like I thought we were doing this, you're doing it because you want to work, and you want to obviously spread your knowledge about, but there's got to be some sort of give and take, and there was no flow. And I don't believe in this balance, I hate that word.
I don't either.
No, there's never a balance. I'm sorry, but I've just burst the bubble for everybody listening. It will never be balanced. It will never look like the Instagram pictures that you see.
No, it won't. You'll not be sitting with your laptop at a beachside.
On the beach. No way.
And you're posting 20 minutes and that's you.
No, it will be putting on a jacket with your husband taking a photo of you. This was me about 6 months ago. And then him going, darling, there's a little bit of Mackenzie's food on your jacket, and me picking it off before he takes a photo of me. Like that's basically how it works, So, it doesn't look balanced, But if there's a flow of back and forth, some days I'm up until midnight working. Some days I'm taking the afternoon off to spend with the kids.
After this podcast recording, it's the kids go back to school in about 9 days after the summer.
Yes. Are you counting?
While we're recording this. Well,
are you counting?
Possibly. But after this, I said, I'm doing a podcast interview this morning. They're being really quiet. They're brilliant. And I said, then we're going to go out and we're going to go and get stuff and get organised for school and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. It is. That to me, that's not a balance. That is me prioritising what I need to do. And, they are waiting for me to then go and do stuff that they want to do. But yes, when they go back to school and it's all back in the routine, oh my goodness, it's going to be so good.
Yeah. And I think it's really good that they, the kids see that you've got priorities and that you need to work. Yeah. just because you don't go into an office every day, it doesn't mean that, mummy's work isn't important. It's actually a serious discussion that my husband and I had before we had both our children, what it's going to look like, what work is going to look like, because, I can't work without him supporting. But he was never, I'm very lucky, but he's never been I'm not going to do anything. He's always been more than 50% with everything, with housework and the kids and that.
Yeah.
But, if I'm in a meeting and I have to call him to say I can't pick, Henry's sick, he needs picking up from nursery when he was smaller, my husband had to go and pick him up. That's just the way it is. And having these conversations, you just have to have them. You just have to have them.
Yeah, communication is definitely the way forward, that's for sure.
Yeah. For sure.
We're going to, Kyla, really enjoy talking to you, but we're going to wrap up shortly. I would like you to tell us where we can find you online if we wanted for listeners to connect with you. Where are you?
Yeah, sure. So I hang out a lot over at Instagram at Succeeding in Heels. I hang out at Facebook at the same handle, Succeeding in Heels. I've got a Mums in Biz group that you can find just in searching, just Mums in Biz within Facebook. And I've got my site, which is www.succeedinginheels.com, and you can connect with me there. You can connect with me on email, which is hello@succeedinginheels.com. So all very simple ways to connect with me. And I'd love to connect with some of your people in your audience.
That would be great. The last thing I'm going to say, and you're going to think this is really spooky, my podcast was going to be called Backwards and in Heels.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. And they said, Fred Astaire, you're this amazing dancer, but actually if you think about it, Ginger Rogers did everything he did, but she did it backwards and in heels.
I love it.
The heels connection, I thought.
Yes, that's a little bit spooky. And why did you name it Social Bee?
I just then decided the business is called Social Bee, and that's what the podcast is going to be. The Social Bee podcast, yeah.
Yep.
Always reviewing, always thinking about other things as well. So, but anyway, Kyla, thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And if anyone is listening and they want to connect with Kyla, you've heard all of her social media handles there. We were both chatting before saying, actually, if you could leave a review for the podcast on iTunes, that would be wonderful. And we get it out to more people listening. So thanks for joining us today on the Social Bee podcast. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Social Bee podcast. Come and join us over at www.socialbeeni.com and let's start creating a buzz about your business. And if you like what you hear, please pop over to iTunes and leave me a review. I'd really appreciate it. See you next time.